question is, have you been to, I think it's Markeen Vegan Sushi in Westlake Village? If you haven't, go there. That was the question.
Okay, I have not. So I've recently I'm trying out the carnivore diet. If actually,
Nice.
I've been cooking. I've been doing nothing but steaks and chicken and all that, and I've been having a lot of like gut issues over the last few years or so. So, and I tried it, and it's like wonderful. Honestly,
Oh.
a lot of people are saying a lot of great things about it, like Joe Rogan and all these guys. So, can you hear me still?
Oh yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. My headphones went out. So hold
All
on.
good.
All right. There we go. All right. But yeah. So I decided to try that out. So I mean, if it's sushi, I mean they say vegan sushi, so it's not
Yeah.
real meat. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try it out. I have no problem trying it out. So
That's really intriguing. That I've heard about the carnivore diet. Kind of, I've heard anyone that's tried it is like super. Always sort of speaks to the benefits of it. What have you noticed like since doing it?
not to get too graphic, but I just noticed a sort of like I don't know, like I'll just say I feel better. Because I train. I try to train every day. So I feel, I don't know, like more of a connection with my mind, the body. Like there's days where you go to work out and you feel like you're just like you're trying to fire off, like say some curls or whatever, and it's just like, oh, you just feel like your body's dragging behind your brain a little bit, so that grogginess. And then so that's really good. So I just feel like recharge, energized. I get better sleep. And you just get afraid because you've been told your whole life that you get all the vitamins from the vegetables, right? And all these different things from vegetables and so on and so forth. And like, being an athlete my whole life, man, if I ate vegetables the whole time, like I don't even know. So, just trying it out, for like the last few days has been great. Like I felt good. I haven't felt too hungry either. Like I don't get like hunger pains and all that. So there's tons of more benefits. But that's like the short of it for me so far.
Yeah, that's So are you talking about like training and this diet as well? Like, are you quite mindful of? Well, actually, I'm going to sort of what's the word before I ask this question? Like, obviously, a lot of musicians, I feel like there's a bit of an epidemic of musicians who are not necessarily maybe as good as others at keeping a routine and like looking after themselves.
Right.
I
Yeah.
noticed that particularly among a lot of my musician friends. Have you always been conscious to look after yourself, and have you noticed that kind of what I've just said in other musicians, or do you think I'm wrong? Where do you kind of sit on that?
No, you're 100% right. That's like one of the main reasons why I try and post, like at least the stories. I used to make the actual posts of them, but I got them in my stories when I hit the gym, and I've got like somebody with me or whatever. I try to post something because I actually get a lot of comments about how it inspires musicians around the world. They could be anywhere, and they're like, hey man, this has been great, man. Since I've been watching your stuff, I've been like working out too. I feel so much better. You know what I mean? I feel like strong body, strong mind, right? So that sort of thing. So yeah, I've definitely noticed it, and that's why I try to kind of advocate for it.
Is it something, because you say you trained your whole life, is that because for some people they kind of realize later on the importance of like healthy body, healthy mind? Have you always had that kind of ethos of just like keeping yourself in shape and like?
Yeah, like my family's full of like athletes and whatnot. So I've been playing since I was 9. So I couldn't wait to work out. I couldn't wait to get our first set, and we turned the garage into a gym growing up. So I'd been getting up around maybe between 4-5 o'clock in the morning since high school. So I'm just used to that kind of like militant, if you will. I wouldn't say militant, but you know what I mean, like that kind of like mentality. And I've been experiencing these benefits going to school, you know, when everybody's wiping the crust out of their eyes, I'm like awake, I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? So I just love the benefits from it. And of course, you look better, you play better as well. So, yeah, I love it. And, there's people who preach against it. I don't know why you would, but, I say stay fit,
I think some people the people that speak against that stuff, quite often it's a subconscious kind of envy, that don't quite realize that, like, actually it's, they hate us because they ain't us kind of thing,
Yeah, right.
And can you pinpoint anything about you as a person that, because again, it's so that getting up at like 4 or 5 in the morning since high school is quite a
Yeah.
thing, or even
Not every day, not every single day. There's periods of my life where I'm like, oh man, I have a window to like start getting up and start benefiting from that. And it's great every time I do it, but I can't always do it, but I know that I can if I have to. Does that make sense?
yeah. So you don't like, say you had a lion one day, you wouldn't struggle the next day, like getting up early again?
No, not if I got enough sleep,
Yeah.
if I'm not like hungover or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so, but for the most part, no. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you tie in, like, this is something actually, funnily enough, was it the last guest? It was someone very recently I asked about, where, like, I personally struggle with free time, with actually allowing myself that time off away from music, where
Right.
I think it's probably because I often don't get done what I want to do that day. And then it comes to like the time that I should allow myself to relax, and I don't.
Right.
Is that something that resonates with you, or do you feel like
For sure. No, it's huge. That's one of the biggest reasons I try to go really early in the morning, because you believe it or not, we need our bodies are designed to be getting up when the sun's up, right? So I find that when I get up early, it's just all that kind of what's the word, like that, like I said, that lag kind of goes away, and I'm shocking the body right away into waking up and into that sort of like, there's blood flowing, all those endorphins are going and stuff. So that really helps my day. And to your question about like time management, getting up and your workout's over and you're nice and showered up, and it's like 6, you have like all the time in the world. It's amazing. I mean, for me, like I don't work, right? So I work from home, right? So like, for me, having that time, but even if I was working like a 9 to 5, getting that workout in the morning is just amazing. I feel like you're going to come back home after work, feeling better about like getting your practice routine in and all that other stuff you got to do outside of the job. So, I had to work 3 jobs when I was in Boston, man. So, you can find the time.
Yeah, I think everyone says they're sort of like time poor, but when you actually break down why you're time poor, it's mainly these things, like, held up my phone for anyone that's just listening, but
Right.
I find so many times I'll be scrolling, and then I'm like, how have I run out of time today? It's like, it's so obvious. I know exactly why I run out of time today, like
Yeah. It's when the body's not ready to go, your mind wanders, that's just the one thing. So got a lot of, again, there's all the excuses, right? I don't want to, body positivity and all that stuff. It's just, I just find it to be bullshit. You know what I mean? If you're body positive, then you'd at least be curious enough to look into the reasons and have, and all the resources that are there as far as like getting fit, right? Because if you're not, that energy is going to go into something else, like scrolling all day, which I still have a bad habit of doing myself, but at least all those other things are out of the way, right? Like I said, getting that workout in, and then that mentality also helps my practice routines as well. So there's no downside to staying fit. I just don't see it.
Yeah, for sure. I think we're kind of taught to like prioritize a lot of things that ultimately make companies money, scrolling and all that stuff.
Of course, man. Yeah. If you're not doing the marketing, you're being marketed to.
That's a clip in itself. That's a good that's a good phrase. Yeah. I always find I feel better. I think the thing I hate the most is that I know I feel better when I work out or when I'm fit. But you always just go, I just don't have time for it. And it's like, I know I have time for it. There's one other thing you mentioned, sunlight. Something that I've that I found has benefited me massively was actually just getting like sunlight, like pure outdoor sunlight when I wake up. And I remember I used to struggle getting up like early, I say early, like before 8 o'clock, it's not early, but like,
right.
I work from home as well. So I could get up at like midday and the world would not end, and then, and then I used to just get up whenever. But then I thought, okay, now I need to get up earlier and get stuff done. And I started just going outside. Have you heard of Andrew Huberman? Have you seen his stuff online?
No, I haven't.
He's super interesting. You should check him out. It really ties in. He's a psychologist, and he said something about that. I just thought, okay, there's no harm in this. I'll try it. He was like, if you get 5 to 10 minutes of morning sunlight, like direct outdoor, it can't be through a window. That reflects a lot of the light. It's got to be exposure to your eyes. You'll reset your body clock in a few days or something. And I was like, okay, that. Like, what's the harm in trying, And then, literally a day in, I got up at about 8 o'clock, had my coffee, sat in the sun for about 20 minutes, and went inside and had my day. Next morning, without fail, I woke up about 15 minutes before my alarm at about 8 o'clock, and that happened for like the next few weeks. And then I broke the routine, and it stopped. Literally, and I'm not like a big, what's the word? Like, I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't really have any high hopes. So it's not like a placebo thing or maybe it is. I don't know. But
I'm one of those people for sure that just, I'm not going to, how do they say it? I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it until it works type of guy, I mean, if someone's going to say, oh, that's some placebo stuff, well, then nothing works then, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Then, right? Like, what are you trying right now? You trying a new diet or you trying a new supplement or like, what is like, at the end of the day, like there are certain things that we need. And I think that when I hear 20 minutes of sunlight, it's like, dude, you can't try 20 minutes of sunlight in the beginning of the day. You're just that, you know what I mean? So I try to, I try to say things online to get people to think differently, like with their own mind, because again, like naysaying this or that, you're not speaking from yourself. You're speaking from someone else's voice, trying to keep you marketed. See what I'm saying? They're trying to keep you on their path for their endeavors. Right. And so like, I love hearing stuff like that. I'm going to try that, because I've been, I don't know, lately it's been harder and harder for me to get up early, like I said, and get that workout in. So maybe I need to just wait an hour, let the sun come out and just chill and then go to my workout. I'll let you know if it works.
Yeah, man. It's one I think obviously the problem is if you get up before the sun comes up, like you've got to find, I think the idea is just get the sunlight as soon as the sunlight. Yeah, because apparently what it is, it's not just light, like it's not phone light, that doesn't work. It's the actual particular light frequencies that you get in the early morning. So here in the UK, that is not easy. Cause,
I bet.
Yeah. What's
the weather?
So, like, I guess I'll ask your advice because so for me, I like keeping fit when I say like I kind of don't do as much of it as I should. But like things like working out, I just feel a bit like, I don't want to say bored, that's not the word, but the idea of just sort of lifting something up, putting it down again, like I need to be kind of a bit more engaged. Like I need to be, and it's not me putting down working out obviously, but for me, I love things like martial arts. I love like climbing, where they're not quite so like intensive in terms of weights and stuff, but obviously they can keep you pretty fit. I guess my question would be, like, is it like weight training that you kind of focus on when we say working out?
Yeah. So, playing football my whole life, that goes hand in hand, with that strength training. And I will say, like, that's really cool. Like, I'm trying to get into some other forms of working out as well, like martial arts. You mentioned, like, I think that would be a whole other type of working out. Climbing a little bit. Dude, I'm like 215 pounds. Like, I'm not climbing every day, but it doesn't. I think if you do anything, it doesn't have to be weight training. For me, I love it. I love getting the pump. I love knowing that I'm strong. I love being strong as hell. That's just what I want to. That's how I fuel my ego, or whatever you want to call it. So, but I think as long as you do something, that's dope. And I love that there's so many different ways to stay fit and motivated and engaged.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can. I think for me, like, I think my question was going to be, but I think you've kind of answered. I was going to be like, should I, for example, personally look at things like weight?
Oh, should you look at?
Or should I stick with just what works for me, kind of thing?
Like, I just try to integrate something new. Like I said, I want to start doing some new stuff too, right? But I think weight training is extremely important, because I think not to get too sciencey about it, but there's a deficit of testosterone in men our age nowadays, and as you know, that depletes over time. That's not healthy. All right. So doing squats and big compound movements and stuff, just to do them, like, if you're trying to get huge, then all right, you got some work ahead of you. If you're trying to keep that virility, that you know what I'm saying, that aggression, if you will, in a positive way, I mean, then you should definitely be doing some strength training. For sure.
Yeah, I've heard it's one of those things I just need to put my actually get my head down and just start doing it. But what? Yeah. So you're talking about doing your sort of stories and stuff, like motivating other people and kind of trying to spread your sort of message and your sort of positive spin on these things. Like, where do you think that drive comes from to spread that message? Because obviously it's all well and good you taking it in and being that kind of person yourself, but actually you've chosen to kind of get that message across to other people. Do you feel like there was a lack of that when you were growing up or something, or what? Where does that come from?
For me, it's a lot easier to build a fan base and to what do we want when we want a fan base, right? We want influence. If you want to build your podcast, you want it to be successful, you want to be putting stuff out there that's helpful for people, right? So for me, the way I see it is, I'm not gonna just be a guitar player, this like one-dimensional dude. Hey, I play guitar, that's it. That's so boring to me. It's more inspiring when you see somebody who goes, I play guitar too, I would love to play like you. And also, that's totally rad that you go to the gym, dude. That's sick, or it's totally cool that you talk about some things and you're very like straight up on some sort of topics that may have been bothering me, like a lot of people go to the 9 to 5 and they're getting pushed through that grinder. We all know how it is, and you just need, I remember when I was working, just to make a living, it was great to hear those motivational guys on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Or my boss pisses me off or whatever, and I see the motivation's there. So I love contributing to that. That's what it's all about, That's why I love playing sports. It's all about encouraging other people around you, to lift up their end, right? So that's where it comes from for me.
Yeah, it's a weird one where I feel like there's that kind of weird or that really difficult balance where I see some accounts and it's more like the pure motivation and sort of, and like pure kind of like I guess like sometimes it's in the fitness kind of realm where it feels a bit like corny, you know what I mean? Like a bit kind of what's the word? Just contrived and not real. Right. Whereas almost I find it more believable if I hear it coming from someone who does other things, you know what I mean? Because then you don't feel like you're being sold it. Whereas sometimes it's pure like motivation. You're just like, what's your qualification? I don't know why I should be listening to this guy.
Right.
Yeah, like it's kind of one of those. I guess what a question would be when you see these things. Obviously, a lot of people are going to be motivated when they see these like motivational videos and stories and stuff. What do you do about people that maybe, or what should we do about maybe people that see these videos and then are put off by it because they're almost a bit scared? Like they're like, oh, I'm not doing all of this. I'm not working out. I'm not, what's the answer there? Because like obviously, if they're put off by the motivational stuff, and I'm sure I've been there where I've seen people doing well, and sometimes it's great. Sometimes like, yeah, I want to do that, and then other times you're like, oh shit, I'm not doing that.
Right.
How do you?
Yeah. For me, it's like the way I see it is this. To me, those guys kind of, especially the fitness guys, I don't know. I feel like if there's some connection that they have to you, then you're going to take what they're saying with more of a grain of salt. No worries, man. Go the wrong hole there. Shit.
Oh, I'm gonna cut that out.
All right.
Taking a sip and I'm like dying over here. Speaking of staying healthy. I'm gonna try and listen with a straight face, but I was like, I'm half choking to death.
Yeah. Dude, sometimes you can't help it, man.
Oh man. Right. I nearly choked to death. Well, it's a complete exaggeration, but
right.
Carry on. So sorry.
No worries, man. Here's what I'm gonna say, like flat out. Like what you want is to find some kind of connection with that person. And of course, if it doesn't speak to you, then, obviously cut it out. I don't think you should be listening to everybody. For me, the guys, I follow all the fitness guys. I follow all the entrepreneur guys. I follow all the guitar guys. I follow like everybody. Like I'm getting inspiration no matter what. I think if your mind is kind of postured where you're looking for like I'm not looking for one guitar player, for example, to give me every bit of inspiration I need to play every day, right? But if I do follow a guitar player, then there is some value there. So if you don't find that value from some inspirational person, then move on. Like I got people that come on or they see one of my posts, it goes viral or whatever, and they have nothing but bullshit to say about it. Oh, just play the guitar. It's like, you just play the guitar, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm over here doing this video. It's already posted. I'm somewhere getting breakfast, and you still think I'm on the roof talking. You know what I'm saying? So if someone says, man, why are you doing these videos or whatever, I'll be like, look at the comments. Look at the views, look at the comments. This was of value to so many people, and not everybody. But to those, I would say, who are not getting any value out of it, skip along, man. Go to the next person, follow them, hit that follow button, hit the unfollow button on my account, and be on your way. You know what I mean? Like if that's how you really feel, I'm not putting this up to get everyone. So that's how I feel about all the other guys. And you're right. Like some of it's corny as hell. Some of them, not everybody can play the guitar, and motivate people, or be a kickboxer and motivate people, or lift weights and motivate people. So, they're starting, and I think that's what's important.
Yeah, for sure. With all you're talking about the content, and we'll get onto that because I think it's like the whole content mill, trying to keep it going is tricky. Like I know, I think the good thing is I've got a good routine with this podcast, so I don't struggle too much to get like I make reels, like I clip the podcast and stuff, so it's got more like short form kind of stuff going on. But it's still a bit of hard work to try and just keep stuff going, like just to keep things going out, keep people engaged. But before we go on to that, like going back to what you're talking about, people that just don't move on, they look at your thing and they go, go fuck yourself, go play guitar instead of doing this. Like, do you find those comments hurt, or are you quite good at brushing them off? Because I mean, for me, when I hear comments like that, sometimes I'm like, that sucks. 'Cause I've had a few on the podcast, not loads, but I've had a few where it's like negative kind of for no reason. But but then I think most of these people that want to make these comments are probably pretty broken themselves in some way, if not, maybe not entirely, but there's something going on that's not right.
Right.
That's kind of how my head goes about it. But do you find these comments, I mean, you've got a big platform, there's going to be, even if 1% is horrible, that's going to be quite a lot of people. Does that get to you, or are you quite happy just to kind of...
I mean, look, I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm Superman or anything. If 1% of my following were like, F you, then I'd be like, that I would feel that, of course, and sometimes the comments are very well thought out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could be posting something for us. You could be super motivated that day on that topic, and you want to share that with the world, and that's what you're going to do. You're feeling good about it. And then somebody has just that thing to say. Yeah, man, these people, and it hurts me to know how hurt they are. We've all been a piece of shit at one point in our lives or another, right? And some of us learn from that and go, that's not worth it. That's not worth, being that person is not worth overshadowing the person that I am, the awesome individual that I am, that we all are deep down. So I start feeling sorry for them, and then it kind of, but I like it as a challenge of kind of training my mind to not let someone's negative thought toward themselves, because that's really what that is, right? Like, kind of get into my day, because sometimes I think that's just what they want. They don't even care what they said. It's more so they want to know that there's someone out there that feels as shitty as them, and they just need to be taught that that's not the way to go.
It's it's a weird one, and like because I remember I had a comment on one of the podcasts where someone was like, "Oh my god, do you ever stop interrupting them?" It's like, what? I thought I was just sat here listening most of the time, and I got, even now, a bit like I got worked up, because I was like, in my head, not only was it a pointless comment, because it's like, that doesn't help anyone, but I was also like, I just feel like that's wrong. Like, I don't, so on the one hand, it's like I ignored it to an extent. So I was just like, that's just a comment. It doesn't bother me. I don't know this person.
Right. Yeah.
But there was the other part where I was like, but I think they're wrong. And that was what got to me. And I think it's when someone says something so, like, in your head, so blatantly wrong, that's when it becomes really quite like tricky
to wonder if you're doing your job or not, right? And that's what I think they want, right? That's the value they want to take away from you as the source of that value. And also there's this like weird psychological manipulative thing in like society in general. Like, why you mad, bro? Or like, why does that even bother you? It's like, no, you have to work out why it bothers you. How can you move on from it? So there's a lot of people out here kind of using that gaslighting thing where they're just like, well, you're this big guitar player, so why even get mad? 'Cause I'm mad, bitch. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I'm pissed off. You said something to piss me off, right? Hold on, this is gonna...
I know your pain on that one.
Yeah, EOS utility. No, but it's like, you said something to piss me off. Cool, you got me pissed off. Now let me ask you, what do you want from this interaction, right? You know damn well I can help you. You know I can help you, in more ways than one as well. But you'd rather, you know what I mean? Check me in the chest. Okay, cool. Are you ready for the consequences of this now? You know what I'm saying? So I think there's this thing in today's society where it's like cool to turn the other cheek, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, I'm not Jesus Christ, man. You know, I'm going to hit you back, and I'm going to engage with you and try to find a way to get you to learn what you need to learn. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, so of course, I think if you run a podcast or you created any kind of platform and you're not hurt by the things that people say, you're lying. You're lying. It's what you do with that, so that sort of pain, right? After that. So sometimes I try to say things because there's people that come on there and they just want to distract everybody. That's where I'm just like, you get the fuck out of here, get out. We'll deal with your shit later, right? And then there's the comments. So the comments, I try to reply if I feel like replying in a way that says, hey, you're being an asshole, but I'm here for you, like I said I would be. So if you don't trust that, get your trust issues in order, and maybe hit me up for like a free call if you qualify, and then we can talk about your goals, you know. But yeah, you just got to deal with it as best you can.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird one because like when you come across someone you don't like, you can be just really like deadpan and factual about it, but then sometimes you lose. Like when when you're sort of how difficult it can be sometimes if you're arguing with someone and like you're just trying to stay like on it, just on the point, and they're all throwing this mad shit at you, getting really angry. But then sometimes you almost feel like you're losing an argument because you're not getting angry at them. You know,
I know what you mean. Like, you just have to remember, as soon as they get off topic, that's what they came there for. You know what I'm saying? So, I get people who are like, oh, again, I don't, guys that I look up to, you can tell you're getting a certain energy from them because you've been posting all this stuff that isn't just guitar or whatever, you know what I mean? Or it's silly or whatever. And you just got to remember, if you care about me as a person, I know what it's like to reach out to somebody and be like, dude, you all right, man? Let's talk about this, man. Let's just make light of this, man. Let's just talk about it. Let me give you the time, right? Let me give you the time so that I can understand where you're coming from. And maybe we'll find out that, you're killing it. You're actually doing what you're supposed to do. Or we'll find out together, hey, maybe there's a better way that can be doing this. So if I don't hear any of that, I don't believe you. I don't believe you're here for my benefit. I think you're here for your benefit. And you're here not knowing how to work out your own shit. So, and I don't know, man. I mean, maybe the more I mature, maybe I'll realize that like that's maybe them crying out for help. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I should be a little quicker at being like, okay, dude, look, I know obviously this isn't about my post. What do you want? What's going on? And I don't know. Maybe that's it. But it's annoying, dude.
I was thinking about this earlier when you said, how much better would conversations be if like every time you talk to someone in real life or not, there was just like a statement above my head with exactly what I want to get out of the conversation. So if someone came up to you and made some like arsehole comment and all it says above their head is I want an argument, you just be like, all right, see you later. Whereas, like, or if it said like I need help, then you'd be like, okay, I can take the comment because I know where this is coming from. Or if it was, I don't know what it would be, but imagine how much easier life would be.
It's crazy. It'd be so much easier. So yeah, I know. So that's what, again, I kind of look at things in this sort of kind of maybe logarithmic or like logarithmic way where I'm just like, okay, if I don't feel, dude, I'm a human being. So, we're all very intuitive. We know when someone's bullshitting or wanting something from us or not able to ask for what they want. That's my biggest pet peeve. It's like when there's got to be trust, right? Like if you want something from me, I got to be able to trust that you know what you want. Otherwise, you're dragging my heels around and you're wasting time, So for me, it's like, again, it's going to be one of three things. I just want to fight, help me, understand, or I really want to help you, right? And that's totally fine, So, but if it clearly is, I just want to start a fight, like we got to learn. I think it's very important to learn to how to tell someone to explicitly fuck off, because. Well, dude, I mean, you can't help these people. They don't want to. They're there to distract and put attention on themselves, So, but as for the other two, again, there are ways of talking to people where you can show respect and concern and understanding at the same time. It's called maturity. So,
I think I've been around enough of those people where yeah, you said the people that don't want to help themselves, and that's such a difficult thing, especially if you're friends with them, or if you know, like if you're not on bad terms, you just
That's especially sad, that one.
yeah. But I've been around. I can several pop to mind when I say that, like where you want to help them, and I've tried help, in my way. Obviously, maybe I was useless. I don't know, but I certainly tried to help certain people, and then you come off worse. And it's the sad thing is, it's slowly teaching me that a lot of these people just end up dragging you down in some way, and I think that's so sad. And I don't know what the answer is really, because
It's like a vacuum. Like you feel like, because when you're succeeding, or and I think that there's no better feeling of success is when you're first getting started and you're feeling that momentum and you figured out what you want to do, and like yourself, and you're doing it, and it's so much positivity for you. And then you get around certain people, and and it just begins. You know who it is. You know what I mean? And it's just like, here it is, bro. I'm over here saying some inspiring, cool shit, and they're like, okay, dude, we're not on Instagram anymore. I'm just like, it's sad because they think you're acting for Instagram. That's really who you are. That's who you're being. You're actually serving people and giving them your time and posting this stuff, and you're doing well. Now they're over here posting because they want to be famous, or they want to be, you know what I'm saying? They just want to be the BMOC because they never were in high school or whatever, so there's all that shit. And then it's just a black hole. It's like everything every bit of like value you give, they suck. They're just throwing it over here. It's not even going. So that's the feeling that you get. So you just got to learn that as soon as that starts happening, it's like, okay, cool. I'm just here to have a beer. You know what I'm saying? So keep it moving.
I know. I can think of people on the other hand who I know, like, they have problems or whatever, not problems maybe, but they have that active desire to better themselves. So even if they do something that you think, that was shitty, like,
right,
know that afterwards they're going to come back to you and go, sorry, that was wrong. Here's what I'm going to do to fix it. They might not say it in such a robotic way, but like,
right.
I can think of people like that as well. And those people, you stick around with them because, like, you don't.
Yeah.
No one's perfect, are they? But yeah, with the kind of on the content side of things, like, how do you? I'm guessing everything we kind of talked about to this point is probably adds up to part of the answers to what I'm going to ask, in terms of, like, how do you keep up with this, like, content mill of just keeping busy online, and especially with such a creative kind of pursuit, where I feel like there's that balance where with creativity, sometimes if you're trying to output loads, it can really feel like it's killing your creativity. So, like, how do you keep up with something that's so demanding, in terms of time and, like, mental resources in such a creative, like, sphere?
Yeah. So that's a really good one, man. I've been talking with, I guess I would say, sort of a mentor / just a good friend, man. Lucas Kochka. Do you know this guy?
Possibly.
Lucas Kochka. He plays a headless. I think it's a Vader Kiesel. It's just like a green, like a light green, electric green. Anyway, check him out. I was gonna say that's probably gonna be the next guy I put on blast. But anyway, dude's a genius. He's really into a lot of that stuff. So we started kind of like testing things out together. Like, okay, if I make 60 pieces of content for this particular subject, and then another for this one, and then kind of like put it in a Dropbox bin, and then have that for the next 2 months or whatever. And that's cool. What's starting to happen now, we're starting to realize now, is like, it's more important to put out stuff that is helpful and that stretches you and kind of puts you in a position where you're like, dude, I never would have thought, like the rooftop things that, the little motivational things I did, bro, I was just venting that first month, man. So, and I know, and I'm definitely one of those guys. It started over the pandemic because I got a lot of bullshit over the pandemic. So I would just kind of hold the phone here and kind of be like, listen, you know what I'm saying? And just keep, put it straight, for these guys. But so I was like, okay, maybe we'll just go on the rooftop and like, I don't know, just like kind of like shoot off at the mouth or whatever. Man, those are like my most effective posts, you know? So again, for those saying, oh, just play guitar, it's like, dude, these people are the ones that are basically telling me to do more of them. So I try to keep it. So instead of like, I'm trying to post like 3 times a day because that really hits the algorithm, and the algorithm loves that, you know, just like having loads of content. But I try to think about it like, how can I motivate and inspire just from my own personality, right? Just from me being Al, you know, and then play guitar, you know, obviously. And then how can I teach them something specific to guitar or music? So those are my 3 posts that I think about every day. And then, you know, sometimes like last week, I'll back off if like I have, if I have videos that are kind of just going up and up and up, you know, then I'll just like let it play out and then I'll start again. So does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. I'm still trying to find that balance. It's little things like, so I do 2 podcasts a week, and I do 2 to 3 reels per podcast. Depends on like my schedule, B, like how quotable the person is. I've had some super interesting people that just aren't very like quotable. You know what I mean? Like I can't. It's really hard to put what they've said into. You've had some killer quotes. You've already had like 2 or 3 just one-liners. I'm like, sick. That's great, but that's too short for a reel. Like some people, I'll chat to for like an hour, and there's loads of great stuff, but it's in the hour. It's not in like a 30-second thing. But part of my problem is I'll put a podcast out, so I put the little thumbnail on my as an Instagram post, and then I want to post a reel the same day, and I'm like, does Instagram like that? I don't know.
What when you say day?
Yeah,
like day 1, day 2.
So my podcast goes out Monday, Thursday, and then what I'll do is I'll do the post of like, you know, new episode, their face, like the thumbnail, or as an actual Instagram post on the Monday. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll do 3, maybe 2 or 3 reels from that, you know, to highlight that episode. But quite often I'll post 2 things on a Monday, and I'm always thinking like, oh, does Instagram like me posting 2, a reel and a post on a Monday? Just trying to overthink all these things.
I see. Yeah. No. Yeah, I think you're overthinking it. Just I do only reels 3 times a day, and it's just 10x to my productivity on there. So I think and even with some of the stuff that you don't feel is like quotable, still like, I don't know, like just find there's got to be a 1-minute stretch in there of where you've asked a question and they answer it. Dude, that's content. And I would say also, like, don't be afraid to sorry about that. Don't be afraid to don't be afraid to have, like, if I were to look through like the last few months, say, of like your material on Instagram, of like having a lot of that podcast on there, because people sometimes they just need the reminder, you know what I mean? So don't be afraid of like overexposing the podcast, because at the end of the day, they're seeing that stuff and they're going to go back and watch the whole thing anyway. A lot of the guys that I watch on podcasts all throughout the internet, you know, I've seen a lot of their quotes, right, in that podcast. It's just maybe taken me a month to just get around to it, but I eventually get back to it. So I think you're just overthinking it a little bit, you know, just like 3 times a day, you should have like more than enough content out there.
Man, that's so much content for me. I could do, yeah.
How many episodes do you have out?
So your one right now, I think, is 56.
Oh man, you have like, you like every day, if you can have them at, like, all in Final Cut, do 50 different projects and just pull something from them every single day. Unless you have one podcast, like you said, that you're trying to put out there every week. Maybe like maybe have the last post you do every day to be the newest one, and then do a recap of the older one, and just keep doing that system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've never thought about the idea if I could actually just sounds bad saying reuse old content.
Respin up though. You can respin old material. It's totally warranted in your case.
I think. Got me thinking now. because I save it all on Dropbox because I can't keep all on my PC. It would just blow up. Like
Right,
right. Yeah, I'll have a think about that. You got me thinking. The I had a good So this is what I want to try and do, but I don't know how to go about it yet. What I want is I notice a lot of the podcasts I follow and like people, you don't see them just like on their platform. You see, like you said, you hear a quote on some other page, like someone will repost it and do a spin on it or whatever.
Right.
I was thinking like I want to do that. Like I want to find some way that I guess it just comes from having a fan base. People just start reposting your shit and like.
Right.
I don't know how to go about starting that. Like, I'm not going to go paying people for it. Like, that's not going to work. I run out of money.
I honestly, I don't even think you really need that. Like, I've done some pay things with like some other accounts, and it's like I'll pay for something and they'll post it, and it'll do like okay, and then they'll post it. They'll post something else of mine, and it'll go viral as hell. Like, didn't pay them. They were inspired. They reposted it. Shit. Okay, cool. So for me personally, like reaching out and like trying to have other people, and this is just my opinion. I'm not saying that you would be wrong to do this, but I think you're better off kind of taking your efforts more on yourself, and like I said, trying to get more content out per day and letting it just be what it is. Like, I think people try to dress everything up and try to make it so professional, and I should talk, because honestly, I just stopped doing the whole like tabs thing and trying to, it's just, I think no matter what you post, it's going to help people, no matter what. There's going to be some kind of thing. And again, even if no one's going to look at one of your posts and be like, oh, that was from episode 3. Why is he even posting that? Now, one asshole might, and they suck. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? In comparison, I mean, they're, all you have to do is say, oh man, this was a great one from like episode 5. Oh man, that was 6 months ago. How did I miss that? Shit, I'm gonna go watch that right now. Like, that's how I see it. That's what I would do. You know what I mean? So, this kind of affiliate kind of vibe is just, I don't know. Me personally, from my own brand, it doesn't work. Like, I'm not going to hit up another guitar player and be like, hey, can you post this? You know what I mean? So I don't know.
That's a smart, you've got me thinking for sure. I know you've got me thinking, because my head, I would get distracted and be like, no, I'm talking. Because you said it about like, posting old episodes. And then I was like, to be fair, when I posted the first episode, I had 0 followers, So, or I had like 20 or whatever from my friends who went and followed it. So actually, the other however many haven't seen, or they haven't like fully been a part of that.
Right.
So it kind of feels stupid that I haven't done that now.
Yeah. I mean, if you follow, I can show you some accounts that you may or may not be interested in, but like, there's tons of them that I watch, and I'm all day practicing and watching podcasts, like inspirational stuff, practicing. So, and I'll be, even right now, I'll be like, oh man, is that Michael Sartain? That's great. Oh, that's from episode from like way back there. I was like, oh man, I didn't finish that whole one. Or and I love this one. I love that quote. That's sick. Keep it up. You know what I mean? That's really what it's about. Anyway, it's engagement.
Yeah.
So there should be no you got 56 episodes, dude. You have way too much content for Instagram right now.
Yeah. It's funny because it doesn't feel like that, but now you've said it like that, I feel a bit stupid. So cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I mean, these I think there's only one kind of other thing that I particularly had. And again, we've kind of this. I always feel like podcasts have gone well when I ask people stuff. I don't really have to think about it, and just all the things I wrote down just kind of like happen.
They already have, That's cool.
It either means that like I'm lucky, or I've guessed the right things anyway, or like.
Well, you're easy to talk to as well, man. Like you're a good dude. Like you're obviously not on here with some agenda. You're just these are dope questions.
Oh, thanks, man. This is when you see your reels, and I'm just gonna like clip the most like ridiculous thing together, and you're like, "Fuck, man, how do you?" Yeah, no. Oh, thank you. I'm trying to. Yeah, like I said, I think part of what actually is difficult about growing this is I don't have much like shock factor. I don't have much like,
You don't need that.
you know, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you don't need that. That's what I'm saying. Everyone's going for that shit, dude. It's like, dude, let it go. The shock factor comes when you've given enough value, in my opinion. And that's what I had to learn. That's the hard truth that was a big hard truth for me, because I thought I was just going to get signed and come out there and that's a whole other story. But you find out how much of it's bullshit and how much of it just doesn't really resonate with who you are. And then you start seeing people who are real fans. That's what you want, right? You want to post something that meant something to you, and then see the people that stick with you over time. And it's just like, oh shit, like I think 6 months ago I was just under 50,000, and now I'm pushing 100, so you see those people who were loyal then, and then you start seeing the lookalikes of those people and the lookalikes of those people, and it starts motivating you to just be real and steady. That's what I love about like watching guys like Ben Eller and like Rick Beato and those guys. Like they're not, I don't think that they're trying to be shocking. They're just trying to be themselves and hoping that that helps and inspires other people. So you're already on track, dude, in my opinion.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's nice. I've had a few people say that kind of thing. So hopefully I'll stick it. I'll just keep doing this and see what happens.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the only other thing I wanted to ask, and like I said, I feel like we've kind of touched on this a bit, but tell me if I've missed something. I was just going to say, like, obviously there is a lot of, and this is the nature of what you do and what a lot of people like you do. There's a lot of guitar related things about you out there. I guess the question is kind of what would be something you would tell the world about you, whatever it is, that maybe they don't know.
Well, I love guitar, I just think that if you're going to be in this sort of industry, if you want to call it that, that, like, I don't know. I think that people don't really understand how much I like to help people and just to be a homie and just be cool. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's perfect, but I think that people are in this part of the industry are just jaded as fuck. So I think that I think that guitarists need to go back to being people, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I get like really pissed off about this part of the industry with. It's like, it's all about how good you are and, oh my God, he's so good. And then you meet him and they're a fucking knob. It's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, be a person. So I'm just trying to be the best person I can be, like guitar is secondary. If I'm not, trying my best to just be the best I can be, then, I'm just some other guitar player, and I don't want to be that. So I'm just out here trying to grow as a human being.
I fully hate to demean what you just said, but you're the only American I've ever heard say the word knob. It's such a British thing.
You know what? I've been working with the JTC guys for too long. That's why.
You're a knob, mate.
Yeah. It's so funny. I didn't even notice that, man. That's so funny.
Yeah, because
I'm always talking crap with Johnny and Dan all the time and stuff. So it's just, that's so funny.
Yeah, there's a few. It's like if you call someone a wanker, it's just way better. And like
a wanker.
It's just so much better with a British accent. I feel like
it's better with a British accent. I can't say it. I can't say wanker, but
I feel like if we met on the street and like say I just bumped into you like and made you drop something and you called me a wanker, I'd just be like, what?
That's so funny. Well, I don't know if we can say it on this podcast, but the C word,
Go ahead. Well, everyone's had their they've had their warning now, so go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, it's funny because I got a lot of friends from Liverpool as well. Jack Gardner and the crew. So, when I first hung out with them, they were saying "cunt" like every 5 seconds. I was like, dude, you can't say that here, man. That's wild. You know what I'm saying? And then like you'd meet like just like random like British people, here in the States and stuff. And I don't know, say you're out at the bar or whatever, and they're just like, "Oh, fuck you, you cunt," and I just start laughing because I'm just like, dude, it's the accent, man. So that's hilarious.
I feel like we can get away with more. I think because it's just part of our culture.
Yeah.
It's still rude over here. Like you definitely wouldn't say it if like kids around or like it's
Right.
but I think you can just it's one of those ones where I think there's more of a spectrum to it. Like it can be really horrible, but it can also just be like a jokey thing.
Humor
with you guys.
There's a lot of,
huh?
Yeah, there's like a lot of humor to your culture concerning that. There is here too, but I mean, like if you're in New York and someone's being rude to you, 9 times out of 10 they're fucking being rude to you. You know what I'm saying? So like either they're saying nothing to you or they're being rude to you, or pretty much that's it. Unless you're friends, of course. You know what I mean? So like, New York, Boston, LA is a little bit more like, well, LA is LA. You know what I mean? They're pussies out here. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Everyone gets their feelings hurt over everything. You can't say shit around here. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like I think I like British like the dryness of British humour.
Yeah.
But I do think there's something British stand-up comedy I do think is a long way behind US stand-up comedy right now. I don't know. I'm kind of into stand-up comedy and all that stuff.
Yeah, okay. Sick.
And I feel like there's something about I keep hearing recycled material from British comics, particularly some of the ones they get on the TV. I'm like, what? I could be funnier than that with about like you gave me a week and said write some jokes, or at least have some funny things to say on a TV show. I could you hear something and be like, how are you being paid for this? Whereas some of the US comedians genuinely that kill me. I love Bill Burr and like
Bill Burr is incredible.
Yeah, like, and I just feel like they're just such a step up. And I think it's a bit sad because I feel like Britain used to be a really great place for comedy, and now I just don't think it is. Like take like Monty Python and stuff, and like,
yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like that's a good observation. Because I don't know too many British comics out there, but I feel like the American comics are like that's where it comes out for real. That's where like all the like I don't know, just like the pent up anger and like kind of like funny resentment, whatever, like comes out. Like you can get away with it there. It's slowly kind of getting clamped down a bit, but I know what you mean, man. I don't know of like too many like British comics that I listen to that I watch.
Yeah, it's well, maybe someone will hear me and fill that space wonderfully, but I doubt.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm gonna wrap up because I could chat for ages, but I have to go and teach a guitar lesson. So I teach guitar. That's my
dope.
My job as well. So it's So I need to go and teach a guitar lesson in not too long. So I need you to ask a question for the next guest, and also need an artist that you think deserves some love. To wrap up.
Yeah. Man, what question would I have for?
I mean, you heard how random your one was. So it can literally be.
Yeah, that was random as hell.
Camera's gone again.
There we go. All right. Shit. All right. So Lucas, when you coming to LA, bro? When you moving to LA? He just got married, so now he's got my buddy Lucas Kochka. You got to check him out, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And artists, man. Another one that comes to mind, Kiesel guy, Mike Salo. Check him out.
I've seen his stuff. He's cool. Yeah. The only thing is, I need the question to start the next podcast. So
okay.
The guy, and actually, I'm speaking to him. I can confirm it's not Lucas. So I can ask them when they're going to LA. But
okay. So it would be the artist.
It'd be for the. I should have clarified. It's for the next person.
Gotcha. Okay. Damn, this is hard, man.
I like putting you on the spot because then you can judge the whole conversation, and then you can just go with what you think. You got a second? I'm not going to rush you.
All right.
Put some hold music on.
Um,
Question:
damn,
Are you good at coming up with questions on the spot?
I suck. I mean, I suck at this, dude. Um,
Don't worry, you're not the only one to have had some thinking time.
damn. Let me. You know what? What if I like flip through some guitars, and if I see anybody, I'd be like, maybe it'll come to mind.
Yeah, get some inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I've never actually been on the receiving end, obviously, so I've never had to ask the question.
Yeah, man, that's tough. You know what? How about some guitars that you're interested in
What some guitarists I'm interested in at the moment?
and having on the show?
So
I might have a question for some of these guys.
it's tricky because I need it to because I'm chatting to the guy in literally 2 hours.
Hmm.
So needs to be something. I don't want to tell you too much about them because I like to keep
Don't
it
wanna tell
secret.
me. Okay.
I'll give you some. So I'll give you some. So the one I just put out a reel because it's quite funny. Someone asked the would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or a horse-sized duck? That was one. I've had things like what's your definition of success? I've had what else have I had? I've had some ridiculous ones like would you rather have one toe for a foot or 20 toes on both feet?
Okay.
So you can
I think
take
I
any
got one
direction.
then.
Like
Do you even lift, bro?
that's a good one.
There it is.
It's simple. I like that. That's good. Yeah. I always like the icebreakers as well because if I go in with a really deep one, it's like we're in it, you know. Whereas
Right.
it's like
Right.
if it's like something like that. Although it might just bring up some horrible memory or something. I'm like, great, I job in it.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Okay, and then oh, you've done your artists as well. Wicked, cool. Well, if you have anything you want to promote or plug to the world before we finish up, then feel free.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an intermediate player, and you're stuck there, and you're looking for a mentor to help you get out of that, I know what that feels like. Join the SFA, the Shredfest Academy, just opened up. It's you can check it out at aljosephmusic.com/shredfest, one word, and see if it's right for you. A lot of people are loving it.
Nah, you're lying. Just get lessons with me. You'll be fine. No, no, for sure. Wicked, man. Thanks very much. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, that was awesome.